Hello, my friends. Mandy here with a quick invitation for you to join the Patreon for our show. We've recently switched up some of the benefits, including a new monthly workbook to go along with all the incredible content you're getting on the show. It's a coach yourself through grief kind of a vibe, and for only $10 a month, it is a wholly worthy and affordable way to invest in your own healing process without the commitment of a full coaching relationship. Learn more at patreon.com/Mandy Capehart, and of course, the link is in the show notes. Thank you as always for being here. Now let's get into the good stuff. Welcome back to Restorative Grief with Mandy Capehart. You are listening to episode 98, titled Grieving Our Furriest Friends. This week, we are revisiting a Q&A from my now archived grief advice column titled Ask a Grief Coach. Every now and then, a new conversation starts on the topic of losing a pet, but it's been a minute since we've talked about it. So again, I want to make space for those of us with this easily disenfranchised loss in our lives so that we can reflect and rest in the truth that these losses are as heavy and worthy of our compassion as anything else we can experience. So for those of you who are relatively new to the show, I used to write a column called Ask a Grief Coach over on Medium. You can still see some archived episodes there if you want. Quite a few years of articles that you can read through, really. But I bring one every now and then to the podcast as a meaningful way for us to recognize our shared experiences in grief. This particular question came from a client and was originally shared with permission, although it was made more anonymous through the changing of some details in the article, which is true of everything if you go back and read those. So don't look for yourself for trying to figure out whose question it was. Hopefully it's very anonymous, or maybe even just made up because it's my question. Who knows? So ultimately, though, the purpose in sharing those questions is to create a deeper sense of compassion for yourself. But as you listen, keep the context of your own story in mind. No answers you hear from me will ever directly apply to your circumstances because your grief is unique to you, even if you are sharing a similar story. So here's the full question about pet loss. After all the grief we've experienced in our life over the last few years, family members passing, job changes, fertility issues, the pandemic, our beloved dog just passed away as well. He was with me before my entire family today, including my marriage. And now I'm faced with life without my best friend at my side, and I'm not sure how to deal with his absence on top of all the rest. It seems silly to me in light of how significant the pain of the last few years has been, but he was always with me, and I'm struggling to handle this change. So we recently spent some time at the coast looking for rest. It helped some, but most of these moments seem so much harder than they should. I remember when I first got this question that one of the things that struck me was the significance of all the grief this individual has carried over the last few years. Not one of those circumstances was easy or simple to navigate, and yet here they are questioning if the death of their pet and longtime companion was worthy of adding to that list. So as you listen to my response, I'd love for you to consider how you might respond in support of a friend with a loss like this, or if you are in a similar boat. If you are wondering if a grief event or something you've experienced recently is worthy of your attention when compared, are we really comparing them? Yeah, I guess you are. When compared to other things you've experienced. Ask yourself the question if this response helps, or maybe even just opens your eyes a little bit to what you might be doing to yourself inadvertently as you grieve. So here's my response. I'm so grateful to hear about your time spent at the coast with your family and the memories of your beloved dog, because I'm a strong believer that the salty air at the ocean is purifying for our spirits, our souls, our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and it sounds like your time in the sand brought great comfort to your heart. I think the biggest thing here that I would offer you as a reminder is to give yourself space. Grief looks like it looks. There's no prescription to lessen the truth of our losses, but you can be willing to honor your heart anytime it hurts. There is no should or should not in this space. You can grieve as deeply for your pet as you would for any other loss you experience. There's far too much societal pressure to move on quickly from these alleged lesser losses, but they deserve to heal in their own timing. And equally as important, we must remind ourselves that there is nothing lesser about it and no shame for feeling heartbroken, because there is no grief hierarchy. As the griever, you are the one who gets to choose, as you are the one who is experiencing crashing waves of sorrow each time your beloved dog's absence is acknowledged. Of course, we have moments when we are fine, and others when we realize he would be lying at our feet or barking at the doorbell. Our pets are family. They are important and deserve a chance to be honored as well as we would honor any other loss. So, as you navigate the reality of your pup's passing, please take a few minutes to reflect on how sweet your relationship was over the years, every time it comes to mind. To appreciate the companionship, the kindness, and the affection that you received and offered to your puppy. Keep honoring what you need through trips to the beach or by setting little reminders of his life throughout your days. It is never silly to honor your heart, and right now, it sounds like your heart needs a little permission to indulge in comfort for that heaviness. So, to put a finer point upon my response, navigating complex losses like this person is necessarily means they are going to need space for each of those experiences to be metabolized and expressed individually. No more just trying to heal and move on, because there are too many moving parts. And dismissing our needs and our pain or creating an internal hierarchy is a complete disservice to your healing. It disrespects who you are and what you need. So, if you do find yourself in a similar position, or if you too are grieving the loss of a pet, I see you. I see the heaviness. I see the patience. I see the internal fight to validate your own experience, torn between feeling like a pet loss is less important when I look at other griefs, or I have experienced worse, or I've survived more, so this is no big deal. I'm with you to straighten your spine and affirm you. Your grief is real, just as real as the integration and healing that awaits as you soften toward this hurting part of yourself as well. Thank you for listening to episode 98 of Restorative Grief. Pet loss is one of those questions I hear people so timidly ask, and I just want to shout in response, your grief is completely valid. With the conversation today, we see this grief as part of a lifetime of love and companionship. Changing your rituals and daily experience after a decade of life together is painful, no matter what has been lost. If this is your first time listening to Restorative Grief, welcome. The format of Q&A is a little different, but since I get questions all the time, I would love to start bringing it around more often. So you can connect with me on social media under the handle @MandyKPart everywhere, and send your own questions if you'd like to have them addressed, because I would love to do that for you. Thank you, as always, to my beautiful patrons and supporters. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a show supporter or the benefits you receive as a Patreon, check out the links or look us up on Patreon under Mandy K. Part. And as always, one last thing. Please remember, the only solution for grief is to do the work of grieving. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.